taught us to blame ourselves. So you blaming the victim. And so therefore you can understand, you won't be able to come to the conclusion when you get that correct, that we did not put ourselves in place. Right, that's what I'm saying. You read that. And that's the kind of literature that's put out there. That the fiction, that's the same is true as Jamala practices when she deals with the victims we are of oppression in the city. Or with the police, the first thing they do is blame the victim. And we have to be very careful and look, instead of red flags up. And as the young man was saying over there, it's not a textbook for chemistry, biology, math, that the story is not told such that you need to know. What does the Mount Rushmore have to do with algebra or geometry? What is in those textbooks? What does the Empire State Building have to do with chemistry? But all of these subtleties are in every textbook. Next time you go back to check your textbook, and you learn things so subliminal that the message is so well entrenched that you don't even know you can see. So you have to be very astutely reborn again. I come back to that. In your black, like Coca-Cola, practice selling Coca-Cola, diligent. They don't let up. They haven't let up since they make it. And we have to do. You have to prophesy. You have to do it for yourself. What would happen if every day you went to a drawer and you saw a Playboy? In every room they had that. Sooner or later you will pick it up. Same as if you put something else in there that you want to keep on your mind. You have to work to reset your own mind. And that's what brought me to this room, because I try to help do all I can to participate with the African American mind. A brain is one thing, but a mind is another. Everybody got a brain. Everybody don't have a mind. Some other people may have our mind. We walk around thinking ours. So we have to function off a level that we never thought we'd ever have to function off of on a daily basis. You can't let up. I'm past it, but I can't let up. Unfortunately, we have to pull back from our ancestors' vibrations in the grave in order to just make it. And you have to believe that with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. And you have to practice. Just like you practice getting up every day, going to bed, you eat every day. You can't live without it. You can't live without it. Otherwise you will fall back fast.
Okay, I'm going to allow the panelists to make a wrap-up statement and give about a minute. And then we have some announcements today, and folks have announcements that are out.
Okay, we do, as youth, African American youth, we do need guidance and support from adults and our parents within this black community. And I think it's just why our parents just need to be there for us, give us the freedom, and instill trust within us that we will carry on the struggles, and to just be there for us.
Very briefly, I know everybody seems to be picking on this young man right here, but I just want to say something to you, and that is that it's somewhere along a proverb that says the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. You got to belong to be part of. You get it? The whole is equal to the sums of its part. That means that you're not out there just dingling by yourself, as she said, that we're in this together, whether or not you want to be or not. You know, even those that are out there floating, they are still part of. They just haven't came back home. They may not never come back, but they are part of the problem, or they are part of the solution. So you can elect which one you want to become part of. So that's all I have to say.
We're going to wrap up, and I got a few announcements to make. One of them is that there's going to be a Namibian Independence Day celebration on Wednesday, March 21st, and there's some leaflets back at the OBS lit table that people can pick up. But I don't think people should be under any illusions about the kind of independence that Namibia has been given. I mean, it's going to be a long, protracted struggle for real freedom and democracy there. And you're going to see what's going to be termed black on black violence as you see now in South Africa, but that's because that's the class struggle. Those folks who still continue the armed struggle against those folks who want to hold power, control the wealth of their country. So we're very happy for Namibia, but we know they have a long struggle ahead. Also, March 25th through April 1st has been declared Ellen Reasanover Week, and for those of you who do not know about her case, keep your ears and eyes open, but there'll be a number of events. One of them is Reggae Nights, which will be a fundraiser for her defense fund. There'll be more on that later, so keep your ears and eyes open. There's going to be a video showing on Marion Prison, April 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. right here in this auditorium. And for those of you who all don't understand how prison fits in with youth, look inside the jails and see who's there. Young black males filling the jails. They're building more jails than they're building schools, so that ought to tell you something. But right now there's a big push around Marion Prison because the toxic waste that has polluted the water supply is what's being given to the inmates. What? So, I mean, that's real. That is absolutely real. So the videotape is going to expose some of the atrocities in Marion Prison, which is a maximum security. Some of the best and brightest minds, white, black, yellow, and red, are in Marion Prison. They have behavior modification, and they use mind-altering drugs because they are trying to break these brothers. So we need to be zeroing in on that. So that's April 9th through 7 to 9. There's some petitions back in the back that you can sign protesting the water supply that they know is polluted with toxic. Infrared Rockets has a concert coming up. There's leaflets on the table about that. Are there any other announcements that people need to make? There's lots of information on the lit table that people should pick up. Most of it is free.
I brought with me here some petitions from the International Human Rights Association of American Minorities. And what we're doing is petitioning the UN. In fact, this is some information that I brought with me. The initiative has started there in Chicago, and it's something that Malcolm X talked about, is taking our problem to the United Nations in front of the World Court from the UN Declaration of Human Rights. So this is something that we're going to be pursuing in reference to, in cooperation or in coalition with Brother Chokwe Lumumba deal on the reparation issue. So if you would mind signing these petitions, I'm quite sure the brothers and sisters in Chicago will be glad to see some from St. Louis. So they'll be back there.
We got 2 petitions that people need to put their signatures on. And finally, before people leave, we want to pass around the hat, because the best way that you can support an organization that you want to continue to see working and struggling is to support them financially. So Jahari from the Youth Council for Positive Development is going to pass the basket around. Let's hit some jingling. Let's hit the pockets. Go as deep as you can, because that's how we're not funded with any governmental funds. We're funded by donations from you and others like you. Sula, you have an announcement?
Well, it's more the state.
Testing. Being somewhat like a performer, cultural entertainer, it never ceases to, amaze me, or it just strikes my fancy on how things are put on. Something like today, my mind gets to bubbling on a more creative end of it, to how it could have been better. You know what I'm saying? Things along that nature. And it's real key, because what I'm talking about right quick is just the whole thing of communication still. Because what was happening today was real good. A lot, the seats were full. We had a pretty good crowd of people coming out. And we had responses once the question and answers came up that was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? It was real good response from the youth and the adults. And it made me realize that the adults need to have some more meetings, you know, because we be getting down. The youth definitely need to have more meetings where they can, like, you know, get down. And then we need more, just like what we had here today, where we come together. Because the question Kalimu asked about, like, how we as adults can relate to the youth much better, I don't think was, you know, to my satisfaction, you know, answered, you know. But I think one thing we need to do is kind of keep that fire going, you know, that was happening. Because when I thought this whole row of brothers right here was going to ask a question or a comment when it first started, it went a while. But as it started going, they started getting involved, and everybody did. Then I did. Then I mean, the adults. See what I'm saying? So it's a good thing to have this happening today. And I think what we need to do is maybe pick a few people from like the different age brackets here and come together and kind of sum up this, and then think of ways in which we can make it fresh and have it more happen in the future, and to have it ongoing. I have to say, this just ain't going to be this year, this time next year, annual thing or something. You know, not even that, but that can just continue, because it seemed like I was in, you know, the WEB, the Boys Learning Center today, because it was like, you know, something I was learning. You know, the whole kind of atmosphere was good, I think, for everybody. So, you know, we need to keep on trying to have that creativity flow, that especially is like at your doorsteps, you know. Y'all got a lot of good ideas, and I want to see them come out today. So, you know, I'm the spearhead behind this whole movement to get y'all on fire, to get them ideas flowing. Thank you.
Wayma, who's our poet laureate, is had got a poem that she wants to read. She wasn't able to be here earlier when we had our poetry session, but we're gonna let her do it from her seat if this thing will fit over there.